It's time for another blistering report from the front lines of the cultural war for a constitutional America. And now, here's your host, Charles Benninghoff.
Hillary Clinton claimed in the second presidential debate that Donald Trump has taken money from the Russians and that Vladimir Putin has his financial hooks into Trump. She claimed that the Russians want Trump elected and that Putin is trying to keep her out of office. But is that true? Let's take a closer look. I think you'll be surprised. And when you see what the truth is, I think you'll want to contact Congress and call for an immediate investigation into the billions of Russian rubles that were paid to the Clinton Foundation and to Hillary Clinton's campaign manager when she was running her pay-to-play operation at the State Department. This information is available out there, but I believe we may be the first to put it all together in one spot. So, here goes, and hold on to your left one, because this is bombshell stuff. High-tech bombshells. Russia has been wanting for years to develop its own version of America's Silicon Valley. But it could take decades for technology sectors like the Silicon Valley to grow from the ground up, especially in a moribund country like Russia. Fortunately, for globalist oligarchs like Putin, there's no need to do things the hard way. Why not just broker a deal with globalist companies in the Silicon Valley for an exchange of technology and information? Well, that's exactly what the Russians did. They started a Skolkova, that's S-K-O-L-K-O-V-A, a Skolkova Foundation, and came up with an agreement that would allow American tech companies and Russian tech companies to share information and gadgets. The problem is, what gadgets are they sharing? The companies in America get access to Russian markets, and Russian companies get access to American technology for what is called dual use. That means civilian and military use. A deal like this had to be approved by the Clinton-run State Department at that time. By the way, the U.S. Army identified this Russian deal as a dangerous pathway by which Vladimir Putin's government was gaining access to U.S. military secrets. So, you have to ask yourself another question. How did this happen? The Russians gave money to American tech companies, and the American tech companies gave the money to the Clinton Foundation to gain State Department approval of this globalist Russian Silicon Valley deal. Again, the ugly pay-to-play monster raises its head. Between Bill Clinton's paid speeches and direct donations, the Clinton Foundation took in as much as 23.5 American dollars, or if you're looking at it from the Soviets' point of view, 1.4 billion rubles. Pretty sweet deal for the Russians, pretty bad for America. Deliciously sweet for Bubba and his bimbo. One of the American-based companies that signed on to the deal was Joule Energy. That's Joule, Joule Energy. Hillary Clinton's campaign manager, John Podesta, is on the executive board at Joule Energy. Joule Energy received a $35 million cash infusion from the Russian government, and then Joule donated a portion of that to the Clinton Foundation. Once again, pay for play. Then, when Podesta became one of Barack Obama's White House advisors, he left that Russian donation off his financial disclosure forms, which the New York Post says is a violation of federal law. And the New York Post, in my humble opinion, is absolutely correct. It's a clear and distinct violation of federal law. But today, Podesta is running Hillary Clinton's campaign. How close can that get? The Russians are making off with top secret American military technology because Secretary of State Hillary Clinton at that time sold it to them. Why wouldn't Vladimir Putin want Hillary Clinton in the White House? She'll sell him everything that isn't nailed down. When an employee at the State Department sells military technology to the Russians or anyone else, We call it espionage, and espionage it is. So why isn't the Clinton Foundation being investigated for doing the same thing when it brokered the Russian Silicon Valley deal? I'd like to know an answer to that question, wouldn't you? And I believe that investigation will only start when enough of us demand it. We need to call on Congress, starting with the House Oversight Committee, to start demanding answers on the Hillary Clinton Rubles for Technology sale. I hope you'll call for an investigation into this immediately. You got to tell Congress to start holding public hearings and demanding to know just how much money the Clinton Foundation took in from the Russians, directly or indirectly, in exchange for American military technology. Our action page is set up so you can do that right now. It's very easy to operate and very effective, very powerful, and you can do it if you want to help save America. Stay tuned for instructions from Bob Mallory on the next screen explaining how to get to our action page and how to put it to work. This is Charles Benninghoff signing off and wishing you freedom, fulfillment, and God's many blessings.
Tell Congress to hold public hearings and investigate the Clinton State Department's Rubles for Technology scandal right now. If you're watching this video on our action page, just use the form to the right of the video screen to select a program. If you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, click the icon appearing now to find a link to our action page. Or check the video's description to find the link. Speak out today.